You're invited to join me around town to practice English in the real world. First, we are going to be going to the pharmacy. Then we are going to be taking a walk in a beautiful park. And finally, you're going to be coming back to my house and practicing English for a little baby, how to talk about this type of vocabulary. I can't wait for you to take this journey with me. Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com, and like always, I have created a free mega PDF today with all of the important vocabulary, expressions, definitions, sample sentences, and at the bottom of the worksheet, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question so that you never forget what you are about to learn around town and in the real world in English. You can click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet today. All right, let's get started and come with me to the pharmacy. We need to buy a few things because I'm not feeling too well. Let's go. So inside a pharmacy in the US, there are a lot of things that you can purchase. You might think that a pharmacy is just for medicine, but that's not true. There's a lot of different sections, so let's walk around. Here we are in the cosmetics section. Cosmetics means makeup. And you can see down each aisle like this. You can buy soap, shampoo, really anything you can imagine. Little toys and trinkets. There are endless amounts of things you can get at a pharmacy. In fact, this is something that the US is kind of known for having stores that are a one-stop shop. That means you can stop one place and get everything you need. Very convenient and kind of a stereotype. This is where you would go if you were celebrating a birthday party and you wanted to buy some balloons, candles, themed birthday plates for your kids, birthday cards, any cards for really any occasion. In fact, this is something that pharmacies are known for, is having lots of cards. So if you are on the way somewhere and you realize, oh, I forgot to bring a card, well, you can just stop into a pharmacy. Let's see. So over here you can see this is the actual pharmacy part. You can go to the clinic. You can actually see somebody who is a certified nurse or doctor, someone who can give you some advice about a medical issue. Generally, it's a good idea to make an appointment, but you can always drop in and ask if they have any way that you can talk with someone if you have an issue. Over here, you can see it says in big letters what we came for. Pharmacy. So at the pharmacy, this is where you would go if you were going to pick up a prescription. And in the US, there's a couple different ways to get medicine. Unfortunately, a lot of medications that are pretty typical, like an antibiotic, you have to have a prescription, which means you need to see a doctor first. You have to pay to see the doctor. The doctor has to evaluate if you need that medicine, and then they will send a prescription to your chosen pharmacy. So when you go to a doctor in the US, they'll ask, what is your preferred pharmacy? And you'll choose maybe a place like this, and you'll say the address and the location, and then you can come here and you can pick up your prescription whenever it's available. I see my baby has noticed the microphone. You want to grab that? Not a good idea. It is possible that you could ask the pharmacist, or if they have a little clinic like this, you could ask them for some advice. So if you have no appointment, if you just need some medical advice, maybe you're on a vacation and you have a cough that won't go away, you could ask, hey, do you have any recommendations? What should I do? You could ask them for advice. Who knows what they'll say, but it's always worth it, and it's no problem to ask. Let's take a look at some of the aisles to see what kind of medication you can get over the counter, and I'll explain what that means. So for example, this is the children's section, but let's say you have allergies, terrible allergies, and you visit the US during like a spring season. You will need to get some allergy medicine. This is something that you can get over the counter. These are children's allergy medications. in the children's section. But you can get allergy medicine, you can get pain and fever relieving medicine over the counter. And I've always been a little bit confused by this phrase because where's the counter? There's no counter. Instead, that's the counter where you actually have to have a prescription. So don't be confused. Over the counter means that you can just walk in and get it. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a doctor's approval. You can just walk in and get anything over the counter, even though that's the counter. Don't be confused. Sometimes English is strange. All right, let's keep walking and see what else you can get. Need some Kleenex? You can get Kleenex. You can get wrapping paper if it's Christmas time like it is now. You can get reading glasses if you forgot your reading glasses. You can even get some kind of like minor medical supplies. There's some hearing aids. There are some braces for your arm. There are alarm clocks. Paternity testing kits. I didn't even know you could get that here. There's thermometers, pain medication. Sometimes in the US we do use, you all right, baby? Sometimes we do use the brand name. Oh, a little cough. Maybe you need some medication. We do use the brand name to talk about medications. So if you ask a pharmacist, I have a cough, what should I do? And they recommend a specific brand name to you and you're not familiar with it, you can just ask, oh, is that a cough medication or is that a fever reducing medication? You're welcome to ask for clarification because sometimes I don't know what the medication is either. So feel free to ask for clarification if you're not sure. All right, let's keep going. Lots and lots of medication. Lots and lots. All right, we're getting to the section of stuff, not medicine anymore. Candy. So if you need to buy any dry goods, maybe last minute Christmas presents, you can get toilet paper, laundry detergent, all of these types of dry goods. And there's even lots of different types of foods. So let's go take a look at the food. There's candy and candy and candy and candy. Lots of candy, but there might be, seasonal items as well. Right now it is almost Christmas. I know it's after Christmas when you're watching this, but imagine Christmas. So lots of candy for stockings and different seasonal things. There's many toys down here. Let's actually go down the next aisle. I want to show you something. These types of things are like grab and go snacks. So you could get pistachios, chocolate covered almonds. I love that kind of stuff. More trail mix, dried fruit, chips, lots of soda, lots and lots of soda. Beef jerky, lots of beef jerky apparently. Different types of popcorn and juices. And back here, it's a little bit loud. There are coolers where you can get cooled drinks. And guess what? In some pharmacies in the US, you can buy alcohol. Did you hear that right? Alcohol. You can get beer and wine in some pharmacies, and that's really normal. Here, I guess in this pharmacy, I don't see any. It might be state by state too. Different states have different rules, but don't be surprised if you walk into a pharmacy and there's wine. Grab a bottle of wine and go have a party. Let's go down here for the last section. This is the baby section. So if you have a baby like I do, and you need to buy anything like specific baby medicine, baby soaps, diapers, wipes, any of these types of things, you can get this here. So it's pretty incredible. Pharmacies are so inclusive of many different things. They are really a one-stop shop. Now, I must say that oftentimes pharmacies in the US are gonna be more expensive than going to somewhere like Walmart or purchasing something online if you have that option. But you know what? Sometimes when you're visiting or you're traveling, it's nice to just go to one of these places that's an easy access and one-stop shop, and you can just get whatever you need to get. All right, I'm gonna grab a pack of baby wipes. You always need baby wipes when you have a baby, and we're gonna go to the checkout and I'll show you how the checkout works. If I remember right, this pharmacy has a couple checkout options, so let's go see. Oh, you can even get stuff for your car. Pretty amazing. If you need some washer fluid or something for your car or to wash your clothes, it's here.
Welcome. If you have your extra care
So I'm going to use the self-checkout
now,
because that's the easiest option and there's nobody here right now. And I think those are pretty much the same all around the world.
Place your item in the bagging area.
I did. One little note as I do this, there is a photo studio. So if you want to have any pictures printed and you don't have access to doing that online,
If you are
this is a great
scanning,
place to do that.
please
So you
touch Finish and Pay.
can get your pictures printed here. All right, I'm going to
Scan coupon now. Touch
not
the
scan any
continue button if
coupons.
finished.
And I'm going to continue. No.
Your total is 5.
And I will
Please
use
wait.
my card.
System processing. Swipe or insert card and follow instructions on pin pad.
All right, now I know in some countries you have to just put your card in really quickly. Sometimes in the US it's quick. Sometimes you have to leave it in there. So please read the pin pad little screen and make sure you're doing it the right way. All right, I don't want a receipt, so I'll click no receipt. And that's it. I'm not going to use a bag. I'll just carry it out myself.
shopping at CVS.
Let's go.
Please
You're welcome. I just want to let you know there also is an ATM at a lot of CVS's. You can use the ATM, or what you can do if you go to the checkout counter where there's an actual person there. I think you can do this at the self-checkout too. You can choose cash back and you can get cash back. So if you need $20 in cash, you're welcome to go to the counter and buy something small, buy a little candy bar or some gum, and then ask for some cash back. And you can get cash back, or you can use the ATM. That's what we call it in the US. In fact, it's right here, ATM. You can use that as well to get money back. All right, let's leave. Come on. All right, I want to show you something else down here. This is kind of a blast from the past. I don't know if in your country people use DVDs still, or if they're more likely to use Netflix. In the US, DVDs are not very common, but this is a machine where you can rent DVDs and they will come out of here, I guess this little slot. They'll come out and you can actually take the physical DVD home. It's called a red box. It's kind of a blast from the past. I don't know how many people actually use these, but you know what? If you need a DVD, go for it. Enjoy the red box at the pharmacy. Thanks for joining me at the pharmacy. Now that we've purchased a few items, it's time to take a walk. The best medicine is a breath of fresh air sometimes, so let's go on a walk. So here we are. Well, we are here with my baby. We are here in a downtown neighborhood of Asheville, North Carolina. And the only thing you can see right now is probably this gigantic retaining wall. And on the other side are some grocery stores. And on this side, there are some houses. It's kind of a busy area. Usually here people will park on the street. If you can see that here, people park on the street because they might have a garage, but a lot of people just have driveways. So you can see up here as we walk by, there are some driveways, there's some obstacles in the road. My husband Dan is recording this and he's trying to not fall over. So you can see here, there are some driveways, but usually downtown people don't have garages, so they park on the streets. We call this street parking. Oh, look at this lovely mural. I love you. Yes, I think my city, Asheville, is kind of known for art, known for some other types of like music on the street, these types of things. But where we are is a neighborhood and not where people are playing music on the streets. So let's keep going down this street. Actually, what I would like to do is I'd like to cut across the street in just a moment, but let's keep going down here. The sidewalk is nice and big, so Dan doesn't fall on his face. These people over here, were our old neighbors, and they used to have, talking about music, they used to play music on their lawn out front, and just the neighbors would come over and listen. It's quite nice. Do you remember this house? They're always doing construction on it.
Always new construction.
They painted it like 4 different times, and it looks like they're still painting it. I don't know if anyone actually lives there, but it certainly seems like an expensive endeavor. All right, we're coming to the end of the sidewalk. Let's see if we can cross the street. We'll go past the old apartment building we used to live in, and you will see one of the most exciting houses in all of Asheville, in my opinion. So let's see if we can cross the street.
There she goes.
All right, let's go over here. We're going to go down the street, away from the grocery stores, and this is a lovely apartment complex. This is where we used to live.
Our old home.
We don't live there anymore. In the US, a lot of apartment buildings are new, as in they were built within the last 30 or 40 years, but this building is over 100 years old. I think the 1920s, which for the US is pretty old. All right, are you ready for something very exciting? It is coming up right here. Some might call this an eclectic house. This is where a guy named Jesse used to live. When we lived in this apartment building, I'd come down here and he was always sitting on his front porch around his most precious possessions. Do you know what these lovely things are called? Wind chimes. So wind chimes have those little metal poles and they clang and dangle in the wind. Well, when people heard that he liked wind chimes, he started collecting so many of them that now the entire front is covered with wind chimes. I think it's pretty exciting. It's not what I would want at my house, but I think it's pretty exciting. And it's kind of one of those things that gives your city a little bit of excitement and flair, right? Because as we walk, let's talk about it. Woo! So I want to tell you about the 2 different types of people that live in Asheville. One are the people who have lived here forever, like Jesse. They have these older style houses. And the second are people like this, who build either a fancy, gigantic new house, and they've moved from somewhere else. And you know what? For us, I haven't lived in Asheville forever, so I'm technically part of the second group. We moved here. We are not Asheville natives, but you know what? It's something that is our new home. This is where we live now. So there's still some empty lots. I guess nobody lives here in this special lot at the moment. But there's other houses. These houses have probably been here for a while. And because it's the middle of winter, there's scraggly grass. Nothing's very green. Well, there's some green grass, I guess, depending on your perspective. In the US, we have these big trash bins that we use to collect trash and recycling. And on certain days, the trash collector will come and you wheel them. We use that verb to wheel. We wheel the bin to the road, and the trash collector comes and dumps it into the back of the trash or recycling bin. We never sort recycling in North Carolina. It's just everything in one recycling bin. Glass, paper, anything like that. It's all just in one spot. Oh, you have to look over here and see this amazing tree. Isn't this tree so cool? It has this giant bulbous, I think it's probably not healthy because of that giant bulb, I'm not sure. But this tree is so magnificent, especially in the springtime with all of the leaves. And I love that it's on the hillside. So cool. I love those little things in a city. All right, let's go down here. We are actually going to cross the street here. Now there's no street crossing, so we're gonna have to just be careful. Maybe technically it's jaywalking, but in the US people don't care. I just have to be careful that nobody hits my baby. Let's take a look. No one's coming. Let's go. Oh. So here we're going to go down the street and cross what's called 5 Points. This is the 5 Points neighborhood in Asheville. And that means there's 5 different roads going into it. And we are going to attempt to cross the street without Dan smashing himself and recording at the same time. Let's give it a
how hard this is.
Let's give it a try. Gotta push the button. I don't actually know which one goes where. I think this one is for here. I just pushed both of them. And we're going to cross the street, but we have to wait for the hand to turn green, or the little walking man to be over there. All right, I always try to look even though the signal says it's okay. In the US, we always do right, left, right. At least that's what I was taught as a kid. Right, left, right. Right now we're walking along Broadway, which is one of the main streets. Wow, do you hear that hawk? I love hearing falcons, birds of prey. It's always so exciting. So we are headed towards the Greenway. And the Greenway is an area that has no houses on either side. It's just a public, almost like a park, but it's just a sidewalk going straight through a natural area. So we are walking down one of the main streets in order to get to that Greenway. Let's go. All right, before we cross the street and go into the Greenway, I wanted to show you this lovely iron fence. Back here is a little creek, and the neighborhood behind me is called Montford. It's one of the historic neighborhoods of Asheville. There's a lot of big older houses. And when I say older, I mean older for the US. If you're from Europe and there's houses from the 1300s, well, it's not that old here. But for the US, it's old, and I feel like the US doesn't really do a good job of preserving historical places. So when there are historical places to see in the US, it's kind of special. All right, let's cross the street and go to the Greenway. There is indeed a little crosswalk here, so hopefully it's okay. And this area, a lot of people jog here. I used to go for a run here when we lived in this neighborhood. It is really popular for walking dogs, just for going for a walk. But there is one thing that probably I wouldn't go here after dark still. That might just be my own personal preference, but it does feel a little bit like there might be sketchiness after dark. So I generally try to just do those types of things, especially where you're not near other people. Like, this is somewhat isolated, especially other parts of the Greenway. You're kind of isolated from the neighborhoods and whatnot. I don't really want to be there after dark alone or with my baby. But in the daytime, this is a great place to go for a walk. Thank you for going on a walk with me. Well, unfortunately, life is not just easy walks through the park. Sometimes we have to do work, and that work might mean taking care of a baby. So join me and my baby as I walk you through all of the important steps, expressions, ideas for taking care of a baby in English. Let's watch. I put on my usual mom clothes. Number one thing I need to do is pull back my hair because babies are perfect at grabbing things, especially my baby right now. She is really good at grabbing everything, including my hair. So I would never wear my hair down with my baby. She would just grab it. So I'm going to have a slightly different look today, but that's all right. All right, to get started, I see my baby. This is my baby monitor screen. I see my baby is starting to wiggle a little bit. She's waking up from her nap. So let's go in, get her from her nap, and take care of her together in English. Let's do it. All right, let's go into the room and get her from her nap. Let's go. I'm going to turn off the sound machine that helps her to sleep. I'm gonna open the curtains. Good morning, baby. Let some light in here. And we can go over to her little bassinet where she sleeps. I see a sweet baby. You see that sweet baby in there. Good morning, sweet baby. How was your nap? You can see that she's wrapped in this swaddle, and that's because she's not extremely mobile yet. When she gets to be more mobile, when she can stand up, when she can roll over consistently, I'll take those straps off of her arms so that she doesn't get hurt. But in general, for now, she sleeps in this swaddle, and it keeps her nice and safe, because one of the important things that you need to do with your baby is keep your baby safe. And to do that, you are, at least in the US, the idea is that you're not supposed to let your baby sleep with blankets. But your baby might get cold at night, so we use these zippable sleep sacks. It's very much in fashion in the US to use this, because it won't get over their face and suffocate them, but they can still stay nice and warm. All right, you ready to get up, sweetie? Let's do it. When I get my baby from her nap, I usually check her diaper and I see if she needs to change her clothes at all. Sometimes her clothes are a little bit wet. I don't know why. So I might need to change her clothes, but right now she seems okay and just ready to wake up. So we're going to go over to the changing station, and I'll show you where that is, and we'll talk about changing a baby's diaper, huh? Let's go. So in my room, I have this little changing station area, and it's really just the top of my drawers, but this is a changing pad, and it's just a nice little thing to put your baby on when you change their diaper. And she's very excited about reaching things right now. Don't roll off yet. And here I have diapers. These are disposable diapers, but some people choose to use cloth diapers. And I also have some wipes, and these are what I use if her diaper is really messy. And it's useful to be able to use those types of things. Up here are just some little cute knickknacks that people have given her as little gifts, because I don't have a nursery. Instead, all of my 3 children, when they were babies, they slept in my bedroom. And this is just, well, it started because we didn't have a spare room to put our baby in, but now that we have more rooms in our house, it's just because it feels good to sleep in the same room as your baby, I would say for the first year. That's something that we choose to do. I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer for this, but this is just something that we choose to do. Ah, you got a diaper! Success! All right, I'm going to change her diaper, and then I'll show you next what I do to take care of her. So before I leave the bedroom, before I leave the bedroom, I want to show you 2 different spots that are essential for taking care of a baby. One of those, you can see here, is a chair. This is the chair that I use to nurse Matilda. That's my baby. And I use this chair because look at something great that it does. When I sit in the chair, you know what this chair is? Yeah, you do. This chair, oh, it's called a glider. It's not a rocking chair because it doesn't rock. Instead, it just glides back and forth. There's no pinching parts for children to get their fingers stuck in. Oh yeah, you just want to grab that phone, huh? And it's perfect for nursing. It's really useful to rock your baby to sleep. I also have all of our baby books set up here so that we can grab a baby book. We haven't really read her many baby books at this age. Hey, she is 8 months old now. We've read her a couple baby books, but she's more interested in just all the other things in our house at the moment, more interested in chewing the books at this time. So the other station that I want to show you before we leave the bedroom is this spot. I'm going to put her over here. Let's see. Do you want to play with a little toy? Yeah. I'm going to give her a little toy to play with. You want to play with that little toy? Hi. Dunk, 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 dunk. Okay, we'll let her play with that toy while I show you. This is where we keep our baby's clothes. There's these, which now that it's winter time, she wears all the time. Maybe some people would say it's a little bit lazy, but when you're a mom, you know, you sometimes have to take shortcuts to make your life easier. This is what she's wearing now, and it has feet, so we call this footed pajamas. Footed pajamas. Sometimes for children, we call these PJs or jammies or nighties. There's a lot of different terms for these, but in the winter, it's so convenient. Her feet are warm, her whole body is covered, so I keep those in a little box. And when it gets warm, someday soon, hopefully, she has some special little adorable outfits that people have given her that are up here. And there are a lot of onesies. So this is called a onesie, and even though there's an S, it sounds like a Z. Onesie, and at the bottom it snaps, and this is really convenient because you can just unsnap it. Their belly stays covered and warm, but it's great for the summertime, which it's not right now. Down here I have some extra items like little sun hats. There are for girls, I have 2 boys. This is my only girl. So there are some items, some clothing items that we got from other people that I had never used before because I had boys. But when you have a girl, people give you things like this. This is called a diaper cover. So you could put them in a cute little dress, but you don't want to see their diaper, or maybe you don't want their diaper to get dirty. So you can put them in a diaper cover, and there are so many different types that people gave me. I think they're adorable, so we're gonna go with it. I think that's all that I wanted to show you here. So let's go on into the other room where we'll get to the next section, which is feeding your baby food. So maybe you're going to be in the US, around 6 months old, you start to feed your baby food. So let's go into the other room and we'll talk about the different ways that you can feed your baby. All right, while we talk about food, I'm going to put my daughter in her high chair. We have a little high chair with a detachable tray. It's very handy. And I'm going to put on her bib. Now you might have a bib that just is around the neck, but for us, we have always used these full cover bibs because babies get food everywhere. It's not just on their front, they get it on their sleeves, on their lap. So this covers everything, and you're ready to go. So I have prepared here for her a few finger foods. And for us, we have always chosen to just give, would you like some tangerine? There you go. Give our kids the food that we eat instead of purchasing little jars of pre-made food. So I just cut up tangerines. I have some toast with some cheese on it, very exciting. And this is what I eat for lunch, so I want her to get used to the same taste that I have. This specific type of, you want some bread? This specific type of method is called baby-led weaning, but some people prefer to give their kids, I'll give you a couple, here you go, prefer to give their kids purees. So that's what it's called when it's in a little can or a little jar, or maybe you make the purees yourself at home. But let's talk about what happens before that, because Matilda is now 8 months old and she didn't start eating solid food, which is what we call this. You start eating solid food around 6 months old. She didn't start eating solid food right away. When she was born, she exclusively drank milk, and that's how all babies are. And there's a couple different ways that you can drink milk. So let's talk about that vocabulary. You could exclusively breastfeed. You could exclusively bottle feed. And when you give your baby a bottle, exclusively, we're assuming that it's with formula, the powder that you mix up, or you could do a mix. So usually we call that supplementing with formula. So if you are breastfeeding and you're giving your baby formula, you would say, I'm breastfeeding, but I supplement with formula. I think there is no perfect way to feed a hungry baby. If your baby's hungry and a way is not working, you try another way until your baby is fed. For my babies, I have been able to exclusively breastfeed them, and I feel really lucky that it has worked for me. And that's not the case for everyone. So in this situation, we would say, you do you and take care of your baby. But right now I am breastfeeding her and I'm giving her solid food so that she can try out different tastes and practice her chewing skills. You want that whole plate? Peekaboo! 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 You know, sweetie. So while we're here, let's talk about some different words that you can use to describe your baby. It's possible, on one end of the spectrum, you might have a really fussy baby. That means that your baby just cries all the time, no matter what you do. You're feeding your baby's trying to sleep, you're carrying your baby, you're loving your baby, and your baby is still crying. Why? This is sometimes your baby's temperament. It's not going to be their long-term personality, it's just how your baby is as a baby. I'm not a psychologist, but we could say that your baby is really fussy. It's so hard. Now, every baby is fussy sometimes because that's how babies communicate, right? They communicate by crying when they don't know how to talk yet. On the other end of the spectrum, we have a really easy baby. Can you guess which one Matilda is? She has not made a peep yet. She is a really easy baby. Are you a really easy baby? Absolutely. Now, she is my third baby, and I've heard a lot of people say that third, fourth, fifth children are really easy, and it's partly her temperament. And it's partly probably my skill. When I had my first child, I had no idea what I was doing, so I was just winging it. We could say I was winging it, meaning I was just trying anything that I could. I had no idea what I was doing. But now, with our third child, both me and my husband are much more experienced, and we know what we're doing now. So she's a very easy baby, or we could say she's easygoing, extremely easygoing. Sometimes she's fussy, so if she has a hard day, maybe she's developing in some way, something is changing in her. You trying to reach for some more food? Here you go. Then we might say she's having a fussy day, or she is fussy this morning. It doesn't mean that her entire temperament is always fussy, it just means right now she's fussy. Before we go, I want to show you a couple other items that are really useful for taking care of a baby and keeping a baby safe and close and loved. So down here in every single one of the outlets in my house, we have this kind of protector. Can you tell it was Valentine's Day recently? We have this kind of protector, and this is an outlet protector. And it is for baby-proofing the house. So this is a term that we use especially when your baby starts to become mobile. And right now, probably by the time you watch this video, Matilda will be crawling and moving around a lot. She's so close right now. So we have covered all of our outlets so that she doesn't accidentally pick up something metal and put it in there. That would be terrible. So this is a really, oh, there goes her plate. This is a really simple way to baby-proof. Another thing that we do to baby-proof is that we try to keep all sharp objects away from the edge of the counter. So all of our knives, scissors, forks, everything in the kitchen or around our house, we take it and push it back away from the edge of the counter. In fact, if you're a mom, maybe you do this, but sometimes when I go to other people's houses and they've been chopping something and there's a knife close by, I just automatically push it back away from the edge. It's true, my children might grab it, even my older children, they might not know or be thinking about it, but it's kind of an instinct. After you have been taking care of children for a while, you're always thinking about how you can make the area safer for kids. You can see here we have our children's plates and bowls accessible so that the older children, so that they can take them whenever they want. All right, let's go take a look at the doorway because there's a couple items in the doorway I want to show you. Here is my baby carrier. I think I have a picture of me with her in this. I'll put that picture right here. So this is extremely useful. I use this like 4 times every day. And I put Matilda in this on the front. I put her in this on my back. And whenever I go out in the yard, or if I'm going for a walk, or if we're going for a hike, or my arms are just tired and I want to carry her, but my arms are too tired, I put her in the carrier. So if you're looking to purchase something like this, I highly recommend it. This one is, I think, Lily Baby. This is a great brand. You can wear them on the front or the back. This is called a baby carrier. And the verb that we use is baby wearing. I am wearing my baby, just like I'm wearing this sweater right now. I'm wearing my baby. There's something else I'd like to show you that's outside. So I don't always wear my baby. My arms and my shoulders need a break. So I also have a stroller. This stroller is great for walking, for running, and for just easily putting my baby in here to get her around and go places. So it's possible that you might have a stroller. Some people, I think a long time ago, called this a baby carriage. I'm not sure if other English-speaking countries call this a carriage, but in the US, we call it a stroller. This is a stroller because I stroll my baby around in it. It's the verb, to stroll. I stroll my baby in the stroller. Sometimes I say, I'm going to take her for a walk in the stroller. A walk in the stroller, that's what I would say. All right, before we go, let's go back in and check on her and say goodbye. Let's talk about baby language because I think this is something that a lot of you have reached out to me about and said, Vanessa, I'm a new mom and I want to speak in English with my baby, but I don't know how. The first thing is to just choose a couple phrases that you use in your native language often with your baby and use them in English. So if you say, good morning, baby, or how are you doing this morning? And using that cute little voice, hi, baby. Are you hungry? Do you want some more food? Those sweet little phrases that you use in your native language do not have to be complicated. These are just extremely simple expressions. When you say it's time to wake up, it's time to go, it's time to take a bath, it's time to have breakfast, you can use those same phrases again and again, and it's just slowly introducing language to your baby. But there's something that I read that will help your baby to improve their language skills more than anything else, and I want to share that with you, but first I'm going to get my baby some more food because she dropped her whole plate on the floor. So I read that the latest studies about how babies can become more verbal, and that's what we use when we say that a child is verbal. It means they are really good at just using language. They don't just use simple language, they're able to make sentences, they're able to use somewhat complex words. A child is verbal. We might say, he was verbal before other children, or I really hope that my child is extremely verbal because I love having conversations and that's a really important part of our family. So this is what the study said. It said, the key to helping your child have more vocabulary, to knowing more, and to being more verbal in general is not to use big words with them. It's not that you need to constantly speak to them. The key is this. You need to respond when they make any kind of vocalizations. So just a minute ago, she went, ah. When you turn towards your child and pretend like they're telling you something important, when they make those vocalizations and you say, oh, really? Oh, you make any kind of verbal connection, yes, I'm listening to you. Yes, that verbalization is important. Then they'll keep doing it. When you affirm those types of actions, when they're speaking, yeah, just like that, then they're getting the signal, speaking and making noise with my mouth is important. In families that responded to their babies by affirming what they said, those children had double the amount of vocabulary as children who didn't have any kind of caretaker responding to their vocalizations. So first of all, this is a pretty easy thing to do, but also it's kind of not if you're really busy. So I have 3 kids. My 2 older kids are very verbal. They're always making noise. They're always doing something that's demanding my attention. But when she's making noise and she's talking, she's trying to vocalize, and I can spend time with her and pay attention to her, I always try to respond in some way. It seems so simple. When she just makes a sound and I say, oh, really? That is making a difference. It's helping her to learn that language matters. Language is important and I should keep making sounds. So if you want to do this in English, you can. You're just encouraging your child that making sounds with their mouth is important, especially if they're a small baby. And as they get older and they're introduced to other languages, that will just be part of their life. Thank you for taking care of my baby with me. I appreciate you joining me on this English journey. Don't forget to download the mega PDF for all of today's pharmacy vocabulary, going on a walk vocabulary, and taking care of a baby vocabulary. This is a mega free PDF, my gift to you. You can click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet so that you never forget what you've learned. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next, where you will go to the grocery store with me and learn one word that my students often mispronounce, but after you watch that video, you will never mispronounce it. What is it? Well, I'll see you in that video to find out.